Hello.
What's up, guys? Just, we're just gonna talk. I'm Jay. This is Sam. We're chilling.
Yep, back again.
Yeah.
Late night talks with the Jew crew.
So, what kind of music you've been listening to lately?
I am on a lo-fi kick.
My man.
I
Yes.
I chilled hip hop lo-fi. It's been keeping me going for like the past week. I
Dude.
totally stumbled upon it by accident. I got it recommended by one of my coworkers. She was like super into it. There's a ton of playlists on Spotify and YouTube and stuff. To be honest, one of my favorite parts
Dude, you
about
gotta
it.
add me on Spotify. I'll show you my lo-fi playlist.
To be honest, one of the coolest parts I like about sounds kind of stupid, I guess, but like I just don't focus on the artist, the name of the song at all. I just like
Yeah.
let the playlist play, and it just does its thing in the background. If I'm playing Xbox or if I'm reading or studying or whatever, it's like perfect music for that.
It's perfect background music for anything you do. And it's
Anything.
it's not distracting, but it's nice to have there, and it's soothing. And I discovered lo-fi like a year ago, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect just to have on in the background when I'm doing anything."
Now I listen to it in the air too. And it's like that perfect. I don't know. It's just good. It's good music.
Yeah,
I never even heard of it until recently, and
yeah,
now
and
I'm
you
kind of
don't pay attention to the artist or the name of the song at all because it doesn't really matter.
yeah. Granted, there are a few songs I really do enjoy. Like I've actually favorited on Spotify, but
For sure.
still, to me, it's not the point. It's more of just like, no,
Yeah, and
just
it's that type of music that it's like almost impossible to criticize. Yeah, because like
really,
it's just there. It's not offensive. It's not doing anything weird. It's just
yeah.
it's just good to have on.
Yeah, on the other side of the coin, I guess the only criticism for it is it's really not pushing any boundaries. It's just it
Nope.
knows what it wants.
It knows its niche. It knows its space and it kills it.
Oh man, and usually there's a variety of instruments too. It's not
Yep.
like consistent. Some songs are focused heavily on guitar, others are focused on piano. You know,
You can use basically any instrument.
yeah.
Maybe not so much like orchestral stuff, but
I don't know. I heard one with a mean sax and a mean violin the other day.
okay.
So I think those two instruments specifically, but yeah, or like I went maybe. I'm thinking though, you could throw flutes in
Oh yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
I you know, low trumpets. Uh,
Hmm.
Trying to think of an instrument that really doesn't fit. Yeah,
It's one of those types of music that like you can literally make it on anything and it'll sound good.
yeah. But here's the catch. I think like good lo-fi is good, but but bad lo-fi is really bad. Like if you don't nail the style and the feel and the vibe, I think I can immediately tell. Like there are some songs in some of the playlists I've been listening to where I'm just like, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to describe it.
I think for me, bad lo-fi it almost doesn't even register to me. It almost if it's bad, it's almost like it's kind of just there. I don't even notice it, but it's not doing anything offensive to my ears, but it's
For me,
just
it's
there.
it's the pacing of the
Yeah.
songs. Yeah, if it's paced weirdly or too fast, I think it's just like
There is some lo-fi that's paced a little bit faster, and there is a time and a place for it, but actual lo-fi works in any scenario.
right. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been my gig last week. What about you?
Yeah, well, I listen to lo-fi a lot too. Recently, I've got into more indie rap. Um,
Mm.
that's has really been my kick lately. Especially I listen to that stuff when I work out a lot and when I'm
I got no
driving.
idea.
Um,
Then
yeah,
British rap though.
well, if there's one country that knows how to do music, it's the UK.
Yeah, well, it's like punk British angry rap. They're called slaves.
Slaves. I
Yeah,
gotta look this up. Hold on.
yeah, they're pretty good. Their most recent collaboration was with the Gorillas. They're pretty good. It's
British punk.
angry music.
Oh, it's a duo.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, they're out of Britain. I love punk like punk British music.
Yeah,
Oh,
let
good
me
stuff.
bring up my Spotify here. Be careful not to play any music, but
The European punk in general is pretty good. Like when I went to Iceland, like Reykjavik is still in their 90s punk phase.
hmm
So like a lot of the bars me and my dad would go into are these grungy like oh my god, the person sitting next to you is dressed in like all leather and has piercings kind of bars. They're just like real rock and roll like down with the system bars.
yeah, it does kind of give off that vibe, that kind of Nordic culture. It's
Yeah,
kind of
they got good
very
metal music
punk rock.
too. Yeah, metal, punk,
hmm
sort of culture.
Body tattoos, piercings, all that shit.
Yeah.
So
When do you get your tattoo?
I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be.
God damn it,
I
Jeremy.
kind of just well, here's the thing. I want to make sure I get an artist who knows what they're doing. I'm
All
not
right.
gonna just walk into
Well,
any tattoo shop and ask for something.
gotta make sure it's a chick.
I'm not picky, but that'd be cool if it was a chick. Just as long as they're really experienced and they have a good reputation.
Well,
Um,
what you gotta do is once you find your tattoo, right? You gotta pinpoint what type of style it is. If it's like neo American or old school or new school or traditional. And then once you've decided the style you want to go in, then you find an artist that like specializes in that.
yeah.
Like I prefer traditional or old school tattoos, but everyone has their own, like neo-realism
What is that
or
though? What's a traditional old school tattoo?
well, the two different like so traditional American tattoos are like they're based off of the tattoos in the late 1800s sailors used to get. So heavy blacks, very
Yeah.
minimal like color palette. Usually only using like five different colors. If you look at like just Google right now American traditional tattoos, and you'll instantly recognize the style. It's like super bold.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like super flashy.
Yeah, a lot of roses, a lot of women, a lot of hearts, eagles. Yeah,
Americana.
very Americana. A lot of colors.
Yeah, but a
They
lot
don't.
of color, like bold color, but very few colors. That's the
Yeah.
key. There's not a lot of variety. Or if you type in like the tattoo you were describing with the car at one time, you should look into getting it new school style.
Okay.
Type in new school style tattoos. That is just color out the wazoo and very like over
Oh
exact.
yeah.
Like yeah,
Like Cinco de Mayo, Day of the Dead shit.
Mhm. Yeah, like new school style is pretty cool. Um,
Oh
and
my
then of course
god.
there's realism, people that just
Is that
specialize in
real?
realism.
Holy shit. No, wait, that's not real. Because oh yeah, alright. I found
Yeah,
this picture of this lady with this giant back tattoo, but I see at the bottom it's like part of spandex, so it's obviously fake.
ah, same.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really cool shit on here.
Yeah, once you pick your subject, then you got to pick your style, and then it'd be easy. You just got to find an artist that specializes in the style.
Yeah. The last thing I want to do is just have a symbol of from something that I like and just have it be exactly that. It needs to like pop.
Hmm.
It needs to be one of a kind, you know?
Well, yeah, like with my compass, I did the plane. Um, but for me, more it was the story and the location and just the time. It was, but it also, I don't know. For me, that tattoo, I'm traveling is in my blood and flying is in my blood, so that's why I chose that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to
But
like sit down with the artist and talk about it.
that's another thing too. Like when I got mine, I I went in and really couldn't communicate with her a whole lot, but I just showed her a bunch of pictures of compass roses, and she like said something to me in Icelandic, and she went in the back room and she sketched up, by hand what I ended up getting, and I was like, "Yep, that's it. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I want." So,
Some of the shit that these artists do is just unbelievable.
most underrated art form in my opinion.
Here, look at. I think I can link this to you. Where's Discord?
Link me, baby.
That's a long link, but it still it should work.
Holy shit! Oh man, look at that.
Yeah,
Wild. Yeah, new school, man, might be the style that you want to get.
that looks sick.
It looks pretty sick.
You know, I've been looking into getting a pet recently because
Oh,
I've been trying to get this fucking allergy test to see if I'm allergic to cats. It's just such a pain in the ass because I gotta get a referral from my doctor, and I when I contacted the actual medical allergy clinic, they said they didn't get the referral, so I need to go back to my doctor to. It's such a pain in the ass, but yeah.
hey, have you gotten COVID tested yet?
Well, I got COVID tested when we went to Alaska, and I
Yeah.
got COVID tested right before I flew home for Christmas. But I was negative both times.
I have to get tested twice a month.
I thought it was just once a month.
No,
Damn,
we bumped it up to twice a month for January.
that's just Jesus. It's because of this new strain that popped
So,
up in like the UK or whatever.
and Brits fucking it up for the rest of us.
I mean, apparently the vaccine is supposed to work on both, but
Hmm. My sister just got it. She got the
yeah,
vaccine.
my dad got it too because they're both in the medical
Yeah.
field.
She said it messed her up for like a solid day, but after about a day, she was feeling fine.
Well, my dad didn't say anything about side effects, but he was definitely worried about it because
Hmm.
well, at least he knows because he looks into that type of shit. But the way the vaccine was produced, and this like the nature of the vaccine itself is new. Like the way it's structured and the way it works is different from normal vaccines.
That's exactly what my sister said too.
Yeah.
Almost word for word. She's like, "Yeah, this is kind of unprecedented in the world of vaccines, the way they're doing it."
Like, do you know it has to be stored at like negative like 70 degrees Celsius or something crazy
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, like normally you don't have to store vaccines at such a cold temperature at all. Usually they're just fine, like in a fridge.
Hmm.
Which is, and like there are other because the company that made the vaccine, Pfizer, who fun fact also make Viagra, um, uh, they aren't the only ones developing a vaccine. Like they were the first, but there's also I think Moderna also made a similar type of vaccine, but there's also like companies like AstraZeneca, which is one my dad talks about all the time, who are developing a vaccine which is more in line with how previous vaccines were made.
Right.
So he was talking about how he kind of wanted to wait for that one, but how he just couldn't pass up this opportunity to get a vaccine. So
Hmm. Yeah, no,
yeah,
my sister again very similar. She's like, yeah, I got the opportunity. I'm just gonna take it. You know,
yeah,
my
cause
grandma's on the list too.
yeah, my dad
She's getting in February.
my dad said if he didn't take the opportunity, he wouldn't be able to get one for like months. So I'm glad he did it. And
Yeah,
there doesn't seem to be any side effects so far from what I know.
until he turns into a Cthulhu monster.
He's gonna pop up in the campaign, isn't
Yep.
he? No, he actually has secret telekinetic powers that he's been keeping
Ooh,
in secret.
fancy.
Yeah.
Well, my dad put all of his skill points into charisma.
Dude, you can say that again. God
That's
damn.
what he did.
If there's ever a guy who knows what he wants and will stop at nothing to get it, it's your dad.
Freaking A. Like all the bullshit I've been going through with my insurance and getting my car fixed and whenever I have an issue, I just have to call him up and be like, Dad, they're giving me a hard time, and he's like, all right, give me 10 minutes, and he'll call me back and be like, oh, it's taken care of.
he's, he's like he rolls like a at least a 17 like every time.
Yeah, he's got a plus.
Like
Give
a
him at
plus
least
10.
plus 12 or 10.
Yeah.
It was like it reminds me of my rogue. I had a rogue once where my pickpocket and my lockpick skills were through the roof. Everything else was shit. Like I was shit in
Yeah.
combat, I was shit in talking to people, but I was a master pickpocket and lockpick. I had a plus 15.
Yeah. Wait, wasn't
Yeah,
that the campaign that you got killed or something?
did I got killed for no reason. I was a good. So I was a rogue who was a were rat,
Yeah.
and I'd spend most of my sessions pickpocketing people and breaking into places because I was so good at that. But I died in a pretty crazy way. I think I told you
Mhm.
I was shifted into a rat and I snuck into a guard outpost that like the rest of the party was trying to break into with the intention of letting in the rest of the party. You know, I'd go in as a rat, I'd find the keys, and then I'd let them in. And I was scurrying across the floor in like a living room area with a bunch of guards. They were all just like hanging out, and one of them rolled a natural 20. He threw an axe at me, and he just stuck me to the wall, instantly
Oh,
killed me as a rat.
Jesus.
Yeah, he rolled a nat 20. I rolled a nat 1, and I just instantly died in
Wow.
rat form.
Yeah, that's just super unlucky. You can't even blame the DM there.
Can't blame the DM. I really
Yeah.
couldn't. It was, oh, everyone was up in arms. Everyone was like freaking out. It was just like a crazy moment. I think we had been playing for maybe 3 or 4 months. So like I was invested in the character, but I wasn't like heavily invested in the character, you know?
Yeah.
That was pretty
Gotcha.
good.
There's nothing like the old eagle lion combo though.
Oh my god, the Eagle Lion combo.
It's
Just
tried and tested.
it's actually it really was tested when you got sent through the cave.
Yep. Oh my god.
That man. You know how they always say like it feels like nothing beats the first time. That first
That's not true in all cases. Let me just.
I am true.
But when it comes to D&D, I will concede that usually is.
That campaign was a riot. All right, what
Yeah.
campaigns have I done for you so far? It
It
was
was that one.
the
Uh,
first one, which is pure fantasy.
yeah, and then it was the one oh god, the names.
Then
I
it
was
was
Dio.
the Victorian one.
Yeah, the one with the
Yeah, steampunk.
yeah, steampunk, that's it. So we did
Yeah.
fantasy, we did steampunk, um, and then we did I I guess like thriller fantasy. I don't know what to call it. It's just another
It's
fantasy.
thriller fantasy, but I just call that one the Witcher campaign.
Yeah, Witcher campaign. And then there was the failed one.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call that. Just fantasy,
Uh,
I guess.
was not the DM with the record show.
We don't talk about that one.
I don't think failed was the right term. Just the DM didn't want to DM anymore. You know, it was that simple.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't the right
I
term.
enjoyed that campaign where it was going to. But
Yeah, I
finally,
really enjoyed it too.
yeah, I really did. I thought he was doing a great job. But now we're on
Alas.
Cthulhu.
Lovecraftian.
Yep. Which has been so slow in the best way.
Talk about like a misleading name when it comes to like the type of genre that you deal in. Lovecraft. Like like you wouldn't expect someone like when you think of that name, you don't like or for someone who doesn't know anything about it, like you don't think of like demonic Cthulhu shit.
I remember, was it you who said it? Where I was like, yeah, H.P. Lovecraft, crap, H.P. Lovecraft, and you were, and you looked him up, and you were like, I can't believe that's actually his name.
Yeah. It's such a cool name, but you don't expect it like what he actually writes what his name is. Was that actually his name or was just that just a title?
That was his name.
Yeah, that's absurd. Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Okay. Once you add the actual Howard Phillips part, it's not as crazy.
Still, great name.
Oh wow, he didn't live very long.
No, he lived a very short, rough life.
47.
He was poor, like his entire life.
Actually, not even 46.
He was also
Shit.
super racist.
Well, a lot of people were back then.
But I don't know. I always separate the art and the artist.
Yeah, I try to do that as much as I can. There are cases where I can't, but I try to do it as much as I can. Um, like when I read Mein Kampf, it was a little difficult.
Did you actually?
No, I didn't. I'm fucking with you.
Oh, damn, Jared, that's some historical
Yeah,
study.
I know.
Oh,
Oh shit.
whenever you watch a Mel Gibson movie, you're just like you slowly cringe a
The
little bit.
Passion of the Christ.
No, it's like I don't know. Like same thing with musicians.
Yeah.
Separate the art and the artist.
Yeah, like it's like when people always talk about how it's like take a song where the beat and the music is amazing, where the lyrics suck.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's just okay, the lyrics suck, but like just don't listen.
No, you can't do that.
It's a criticism, but that doesn't mean the song sucks.
Um,
Obviously, if it had better lyrics, it'd be a better song, but I don't think
I
lyrics
need
are
it.
everything. Oh, that's hard because I don't know. Like, take a shitty rap song, for example, like a mainstream rap song. I don't know, like Bad and Bougie.
I mean, the beat sucks in that. So,
But well, not to everyone.
uh, I don't know. When it comes to music, you gotta look at all facets of the song. I think.
Well, yeah, but you can't just disqualify the whole song based off one facet.
Okay, let's really break this down here. I think you have to look at it based on how it was made because music made back in the day was made by a very few people per song. Like you take Beast of Burden by the Rolling Stones, that
Don't
was
even.
Let me finish my sentence. That was written by one person and played by four, right?
Wait, are you intentionally bringing that up to piss me off?
Maybe.
Swear to God, Sam, life is a highway.
You can fuck right off. All right, backstory for this is we were in the middle of one of our prior trips on Route 66, and we all established there was one song that must not be played
That we hate.
that we hate.
Wait, what was the one that Ryan hated?
I can't remember. Now I'm trying to remember which one Ryan hated.
Oh man,
I feel bad now.
I'm gonna text him right now.
Yeah, he's probably doing funeral things.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Um,
All right, I'm
yeah.
about to text.
Well, but okay, so getting back to my point, you take a song like that, and you have concrete people that you can like blame because it was composed and played and written by a select few people. But you take Bad and Bougie, and that song's got like 20 writers, like three different music editors, and it's like, who do you point a finger at? Like,
Well, if you can't point a finger at a individual, you point a finger at the group.
okay.
I don't think a song is inherently better or worse based on how many people work on it. It's like saying, like it might take longer, but if somebody like develops like a piece of hardware or a piece of software and they're the only ones that work on it, just because they were the only ones doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. Like if it was better, like if more people worked on it, people might be able to catch mistakes and bugs sooner. Or if that one person just worked on it, it might take them longer, but they might eventually come out to the same result.
Well, I don't think you're helping your case here because the more people that work on something, shouldn't the product be at a more refined state or to a higher quality?
What do you mean?
Like, didn't you just say like, if someone's making a piece of hardware, right? If more people work on it, it will probably take less time to make, and they will catch more bugs,
Yeah,
right?
well, no, the point of it taking less time is that you're getting to the exact same point that it would take an individual person to work on it, but it would take longer. And when I say the same point, I mean the same point in actual quality.
Okay. I still think it's
But
more about
that's not necessarily for music because each type of industry has their own
yeah, yeah.
different facets.
I think it's a tough comparison to make,
I just
but
like it's when there's not as many people working on a song, for example, it's easy to praise slash blame a specific person for how the song turned out.
right, yeah, that's my point.
But that doesn't necessarily mean the song is better or worse than a similar song where 10 people worked on it.
But using your example, right? Wouldn't you agree that it takes more skill to make something as one person than to have help of 20 others?
Well, I'd say it takes longer and it's very case by case basis and it's a little it's kind of depends on what you're working on. And but it's almost like saying one mind isn't as good as 10 though, which isn't exactly true in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I guess that's just my point. Like when I see an artist like Beck, okay, produce an album entirely on his own,
Okay.
playing every instrument and writing every song, and it come out very good, All right, that to me is skill. That's raw skill and talent
Okay,
and artistry. You
but
know,
even though the artist himself might be would be praised for that and be praised for being amazingly talented, the actual end product compared to if that song was developed by a group of 10 people is still the same.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying it's would, in my eyes, be one step above because of how it was made. I think you need to. I think people need to appreciate how something was made and to look at the process of how it's made.
Well, that's the thing, people don't really.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's that. That's just. I think
Like,
in the
people
music,
only care about end product. Like, people don't give a shit about how it was
well,
made.
it's the current way of life. It's instant gratification,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Our generation of music is just catered to a I don't know the ADHD brain of people listening to music these days.
Well, this, like, it's so, everyone's so easily stimulated nowadays. Like, these kids or these toddlers are getting iPads to play on when they're fucking 4 years old, and like the
Hmm.
parents don't have to do as much anymore. They don't have to entertain their kids because it's hard out there. Like, especially nowadays with COVID, it's just like when you have all these crutches, you can't really blame them for using it.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. I'm a little bit more of a hard ass. I think it's possible to do it.
Oh, it's
You
certainly possible, but it's a lot harder.
well, work hard. Fucking okay. It's hard. Get it done.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't think that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the mental strength to do that.
The gump,
And I
if you
agree,
will.
if everyone did, then the world would probably be a better place, but that's the world's imperfect, so that's just how it is.
What do you use? What do you?
Yes. It's like when somebody says something's black and white, I'm just like, nothing is ever black and white, let me tell you right now. Like, everything has shades.
Whoa. Now you just completely went another direction here. Give me an example.
It's like when somebody, well, all right, well, why don't we go back to what we were talking about in the previous podcast with Cyberpunk saying it's complete shit or it's amazing. It's like it's somewhere in between. Everything is somewhere in between, usually.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up just to play devil's advocate. All right, a semi counter example. All right,
Okay.
media can be objectively good or bad.
What do you mean by media?
Like any form of entertainment. Okay, let's just say like looking at movies, TV shows, music, video games, art.
Okay, but to be objectively good or bad, it really has to be obvious.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that like I don't agree. Okay,
And some people might not think that way too.
I just don't agree with the idea that like art is you know it can be seen as good or bad like by anyone. You know what I'm saying? I just think like
What do you mean by
that.
art?
Just when I use art, I mean like media. I guess
Okay,
I gotta
okay.
use media, like media in general. Like we can very concretely, as a human race, agree that some media is better than others. Like there's a formula to it, you know?
Yeah, but I was talking about I'm talking binary here. I'm talking 0 or 1. Better is not best or worst.
No, that's still a
Yeah.
way of judging something as better or worse. That's
Yeah, but
still
because it's
very
better or worse doesn't mean it's inherently perfect or inherently terrible.
let's get all moral now, all right? All moral.
Okay.
Let's just let's just pick a really catastrophic event, like I don't know, the Holocaust. Okay,
I mean,
Mister Gray. All right. So you're telling me there's no black or white, like definitive, like that event was good or bad?
well, you have to look deeper because
Oh,
think
we're
about
going.
well, think about the citizens in who lived in Germany at the time who didn't want to get involved in the Nazi Party, who didn't vote for the Nazi Party but were roped in anyway, and they were forced to comply with all their orders just because they were fear for their lives.
We're not talking. We're not getting that specific. We're
But
just
that's
like
a part of it, isn't it? Like, what do you classify as the Holocaust? Just the
okay. Just all right. How about we'll break it down to just the strict, like, just killing of innocent people, right?
uh, okay.
All right, killing of innocent people. There's no gray area, in my opinion. That is objectively bad thing to
Yeah,
do.
but you're whittling it down to a very specific topic that
Okay.
without any
I'm
context.
providing a counterexample to your
But I
gray.
but I agree that it's inherent. I'm not saying everything is black and white. I'm saying situations are not black and white.
Okay. So
I
give me
like
a gray
and
situation. Well, I mean, there's a ton of really great gray situations, but I think there's
yeah.
also a lot of situations that are black and white. You know.
Okay, well, with the killing of the Jews and the all the disabled people, like
Yeah.
like the actual the actual thoughts of the people that came up with this totally completely fucked. But then you have to consider how they came up with these ideas. Is it a power grab or do they actually feel this way? And if that's the case, where they came up with the idea to do this out of a legitimate wrongdoing that they experienced, it's it's not excusable what they're doing, but there is some basis of thought behind it.
You know what I just realized I think it really depends on how specific or broad you make something. Because the
Yeah,
broader you
I agree.
make it, the grayer it gets. The more
Hmm.
specific you make it, the more black and white it gets.
Yeah, it's like, do you like milk? No, I don't. But
Okay, no master.
it's like, do you like beer? Yes, I do. What kind of beers do you like? Well, that's a different story. Because if someone asks you, do you like beer? You're going to say yes. But does that classify all beers? Or because you have to qualify that with an additional question.
Okay, I see where you're getting at.
Because I don't like IPA, but I like beer. But an IPA is a beer. And if someone asks me I like beer, I'm going to say yes. But that doesn't mean I like IPA. So now I'm lying. Does that make sense?
All right. So in the realm of like, okay, so we kind of went down the moral route, okay, and now we're kind of going down like the item route, but getting back to the media route. All right, and I think this we've argued over this in the past, but I'm the type of person that fully stands behind the idea that there are bad songs and there are bad bands and there are good songs and there are good bands and there are distinguishing factors that make that possible or like
Okay.
make that being able to like definitively say like this song is horrible or this song is really good based on X, Y, and Z.
But just because a song is horrible or a song is good doesn't mean you can't respectively find something good or bad about it.
Okay, well, in that case, you have to break it down into a table of good and bad, and then weigh the percentages. Is that what you're saying? That we
Yes,
have to get?
this is how the gray area comes in. Everything is a degree of something, in at least in the realm that we're talking in right now, especially with music. Like, I don't believe a perfect song exists. As I don't believe the worst of the worst song ever made. Sure, it might be classified as that, but there's no telling that a worse song worse than that will ever not be made.
It's like yeah, a lot of our discussions of music in the past, I think like we misconstrued. Like you always made the point that like a simple song can be popular, and I completely agree with that. Like popularity has nothing to do with skill,
Yeah.
and it has everything to do with the current generation of music.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person that respects skill and knowledge of music theory. So I see things like I just see things differently, you know. And unfortunately, our current generation, as you've said many times, they just don't see it. They just don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going back to the instant gratification thing now. People only care about the end product. That's just kind of how the world has evolved into.
It's just like the whole basis of an album now is just
It's just a set of songs. It's not like where you give it a title. Like there isn't they don't release it as like a physical piece of music much anymore. Like some people still do it, but
it's and it's all I think the way people listen to music is a huge factor too, because back in the 60s when you bought a record, you were it was a huge investment financially, so you were almost pushed to listen to the entire thing over and over and over again, and really just like not you know there's a difference between hearing and listening, in my opinion, and I think this generation does a lot of hearing and not a lot of listening.
I
you
agree
know
there. I agree
like
there.
we were just talking about lo-fi. Like lo-fi music, in my opinion, is hearing music. It's just it's a noise, right? But when
Yeah,
you
it's a
really want
pleasant
to
noise.
listen, to music, I think it's different. It's a different form, and I think the current generation is like I just said, a hearing, and then the past generations have been more about listening to music, and I don't know. It's like no one just sits down and listens to music anymore, and I think that's a loss.
Yeah, but I think that also comes down to people have a lot more stuff to stimulate them besides music. Because in like the 1970s, there was no internet. You got together with your friends, you were smoking doobies, and you're listening to music. There's no Netflix. There's no streaming services. There's no game consoles. There's no Twitter to distract you. There's none of that.
Yeah, and I'm saying right now,
Yeah.
quote Sam Weinberg, 2021, that has objectively made music worse as an industry.
I would say the it might have hindered the critical analysis of music, but there are still people who make music like you're talking about. And
I think, yeah, I agree with that as well. There's always going to be good music on every generation. There's going to be good and bad music every generation, but the percentage of good or well-made music, I don't like the word good, but
no,
like
but like uh you're being too black and white about well-made music, because just because someone took weeks or a month to make a song in the 1970s, or maybe even longer, and somebody made that same song nowadays in 3 days, it doesn't make it any better or worse.
I agree with that. No, I we've agreed that the end product can be the same, right? But The difference is back in the 70s, it took a lot more hard work and blood, sweat, and tears and intelligence, okay, to make that the same thing you'd be
Well,
making
yeah,
today.
because people didn't have the same resources that they do today.
Exactly. That's my point. I think that should be
But
a
I don't.
factor.
But yeah, it's something to consider. But you can't. I don't think you should criticize someone for having more resources.
Okay, another point, right? If you have more resources and it's easier to make the same thing that was made all those years ago, shouldn't we have moved forward and shouldn't music have gotten more complex, more interesting, have more different variation in timbre and tone and texture, and the lyrics shouldn't the lyrics have gotten more like involved and unique and deep? Like it's
Well,
gone backwards.
hold on. I have 2 points here. I might forget the second one, but whatever. The first one is that the number of genres nowadays has skyrocketed compared to back then. Like there are way different types of music. There are thousands of different genres of music, and
I disagree.
you're saying there's not more genres of music than there were in the 1970s.
I'm saying the genres have changed. The
Well, of course
amount
the genres have changed.
the amount of genres has stayed the same, but the genres themselves have just changed.
Yeah, they're
At least
different.
like popularity wise. That's
Oh,
I
well,
guess
yeah,
we're
obviously.
we're missing a word here. You know,
But I don't think you could just qualify all music like that. Like you're kind of generalizing. Like you can't just say it's just all worse than it was before. Like yes, there's a certain level of depth that all music used to have, but because there's more music now, the subset of that music that has more depth, percentage-wise compared to all music is lower. But that doesn't mean it's not there and it has decreased. There's just other music as well.
yeah, well, you said it just now. I think I'm looking at it percentage wise. I think that's it. You know, you
But
look at
you have to be careful with because percentage doesn't necessarily mean it's less. Because percentage is just a part of the whole, and the whole has gotten a lot bigger.
I don't want to speak on that because I don't have the information. I'd be curious to see. There's got to be a stat for number of songs released per decade, right? There's got to be a stat. But
Probably. I mean, but how do you classify a release? Like releasing it on SoundCloud versus releasing it on iTunes or Spotify or a physical copy?
I'd say it's got to be released on.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
even know if I can trust this stat. If it, because like, so how do they classify a song as being released?
I. It's got to be on some form of physical media.
Okay.
Physical can be MP3.
Uh, whoa. Is this like I don't even know if I can trust these sources. How many? All right, on the Google thing,
Mm-hmm.
this guy. Wait, what? Okay. So this is just from Google, so I don't know if I can trust this, but apparently they were over the last 100 years there have been 80 million songs written.
Okay.
So 800,000 songs a year. But that doesn't show you the trend of how
Yeah.
the number of songs have increased or it just shows you the total average.
To counterpoint, I don't think more necessarily means better. Like,
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
just
just because something's bloated doesn't mean there's like more of a good or bad, you know.
well, there's more of everything. There's more good. There's more bad,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes the bad can overshadow the good.
You know, I think you got to look deeper into how like a hit was made in '69 versus how a hit was made in 2019. You know, it was just the way, you know, nowadays it's the general population has less control over what they like, okay? And it's for a number of reasons. But, you know, if you look back and you read about how music was or just music was not like chosen by the general consensus back then, it's just a different process than today, where we as the people back in '69 would let the record companies know what we thought was good music, right? And you know, but nowadays within enough time a record company can shove an artist down your throat enough to where you like it or force you to like it based on making it this un making it popular for no reason, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but with the onset of the internet, like people don't need to do that anymore. If people want to listen to a specific type of music, they'll just look it up. Like they don't care about what the fuck the record companies are doing. Everyone makes music now.
Mm. Still doesn't change what's popular on the radio. And I think that
Well, yeah, but that's the stuff that's popular on the radio is mainly funded by those record companies, and
yeah,
it's the mainstream shit, and some of it's good, sure, but for example, if one of those songs was released by maybe an indie artist, same exact song, it might not get anywhere near the popularity because they are not promoting it as much. But that doesn't mean it's any better or worse of a song.
yeah, I could agree with that.
So it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's harder to get your song out there nowadays. It's a lot easier because there's so many different platforms to put it on. It's just the record companies still hold most of them, uh, most of the marbles per se, as far
I,
as
I think they
making
hold.
something popular. But just
I think
because it's popular doesn't mean it's good. But also the other way around goes as well.
I think they hold 100% more of the marbles than they did back then. You know, at least from my musical study in history, just the way it was done was just so different. You know, I just think we had a lot more control back then. You know,
The all right, I will agree with you that the mainstream shit, the actual record companies, they're very strict about that.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean. But it's also a lot easier nowadays to make really amazing music by yourself, and record companies not going to stop you there.
Will it get popular? That's another question. It's a
But
lot.
that
Like it
does that matter though? It doesn't.
doesn't matter. You know.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with the quality of the song.
Mhm. Still, I don't know. I like to boil it down to percentages and statistics. So I guess
Bleh. Statistics are useful, but they don't tell the whole story.
they don't tell her story.
Huh?
Well, you ever see that meme? I don't want to learn about history. I want to learn about her story. Really?
That
That weird?
that sounds like the worst meme I've ever heard in my
No, it was about this guy who joined a women's studies class just to get laid.
life. Okay.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, day one, I showed up, and I was like, I want to learn about her story, not his story." And that was that.
I hope they punched him in the face.
No, apparently he got laid. so,
Wow.
so that's Let's talk about dating in today's day and age. It's shit.
I mean, especially with COVID. Fuck.
Well, it doesn't really affect me in here in
Yeah,
Texas.
it definitely affects me in Washington.
The Texas gals don't really give a hoot about COVID.
Fucking you can't reserve a table at a restaurant. Like, I mean, I guess you can in some places, but it's hard to find one. And all the seating is outside, and it's January, so like, fuck.
Here, hold on, I gotta look something up. CDC COVID tracker. Let's see. Wanna wanna see it. See it real good. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, Jeremy.
What?
Here's my argument here for
What are you
COVID.
arguing?
um, take a state like Texas, who absolutely does not give a shit about COVID currently. All right,
Okay.
like people just don't care here. And compare it to Massachusetts, who's taken the liberal approach, or Seattle. Well, you guys actually are doing
Wait,
pretty
first
good.
of all, where are you getting these stats from?
I'm on the CDC website.
Okay. You can
Straight up.
probably trust them. Gonna say
I'm gonna,
probably.
but when you're just comparing Texas, which is basically normal here at this point, to Massachusetts, which is on full lockdown mode. All right,
Yep.
they are currently in the same percentage of COVID cases, like the same level. Like it's
Dude,
got
I
it broken
don't.
down to color. So to me, all right, as a guy who's just looking at things, in my black and white way, it's like it doesn't matter if you huddle in an igloo for 2 months or if you go out and go to a rodeo. You have the same chance of getting it.
I mean, I think you're kind of simplifying it a bit, but I don't like. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how that shit works. So I can't really like comment one way or another, but I don't think it's not real. Like there's still
Oh no,
definitely
it's
some sort of airborne transmission that occurs.
definitely real. Just I just think
I think you're definitely at more risk if you go out and see and interact with people, but I don't think it's I can't say how much more risk you're at.
yeah, it's just interesting to look at like the reactions of certain states, right, versus other ones. And then the actual end product of those reactions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just hope this ends soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm not gonna even start to go into like this state's doing this state's doing that. Like it's still everywhere, no matter what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We just need this vaccine to come in. Like
Apparently, Hawaii is the
I heard New Zealand like never had it.
yeah. New Zealand's one of the lowest in the world.
Yeah, and they were just like partying all year.
Yeah, yeah. They closed their borders off. Pretty.
Mm.
Don't want to get too political now, but this is what happens when you close your borders.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm serious. They closed their borders like day one. They were like,
Yeah,
"Fuck you guys."
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
But
good.
some countries can't really live without commerce and inter-country commerce.
Yeah,
So you have to consider the financial aspect as well. Is it worth sacrificing that for people's lives? And as ridiculous as that sounds, like money men don't care.
they don't care.
Yeah.
The money go around.
It's fucked.
It's so fucked. So
Uh,
fucked. All I'm saying is, I Texas is doing fine. You know,
I don't doubt it, dude.
they're
But like,
tough down here.
yeah, it's like these people tell you how this virus works, but they even know? We definitely don't know. But do they know? And how to what to what degree are they correct or wrong? It's just like, is it even worth actually taking the time to look it up or try to figure it out?
I mean, yeah, it should. You probably should a little bit.
But like, but how do you know you're right?
You don't. You just kind of gotta. Oh, just kind of gotta trust and believe.
Tell me I need to have faith, you motherfucker.
Because you gotta have faith.
That fucking pilot that you interviewed. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that was so bad. All right, so there was a pilot that I had to do a wasn't it was like a what we call a like a test flight to see if he'd be well fit for the company. And so I take him out, and he was so convinced that God would handle everything and his faith would save him. I honestly made him an unsafe pilot. Like like something went wrong, and he just completely left it up to his main man Jesus. I was like, listen, buddy, you got to take the wheel here. You can't just
And at that
give
very
up.
moment, God's hand came down from the heaven.
Yeah, like I'm a man of faith, but you gotta you gotta be in control of your life, you know.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Like seriously. Oh man. What oh, it's like in Fight Club where when they're on the highway and the rainy highway, and he just takes his hands off the wheel. Like I don't know. Have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a
Yeah, that I don't remember it that great, but it was a really good movie. But we don't talk about it. We don't talk about
great movie.
it.
One of the best movies.
Yeah,
So
I haven't.
I recently got asked what my top three movies are, so I got to shoot that question
Oh,
at you.
actually, yeah. Honestly, it's really hard to classify my top three of a lot of stuff without a lot of experience. But I've known my top three movies for a long time. That's pretty
Really?
easy, actually.
Wow. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
hear 'em, man.
You want them in order, or does it matter?
Yeah. Well, no, just you have an order.
I do.
Okay. Lay it on me. Number three.
Number three. Oh, dude, two and three kind of swap a lot, but one is solid.
Okay.
All right. Three has to be V for Vendetta.
Okay.
I
That's
just
a great movie.
that is I love everything about the 5th of November and the gunpowder plot and the mask and the fighting. I don't know. It's just so it was when that came out, that was just so unique. I just like and yeah, I don't I'm bad at describing it, but
So what's number two?
number 2, Big Lebowski, the
Oh,
dude.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
I
Every
lo-
line, every
I've
line.
watched that movie like 15, 20 times probably. It's just like so quotable. It's it's one of those rare movies that just gets you emotionally too.
Yeah, it's a
It's
great
just
movie.
so relatable and it's hilarious.
First time I heard one of my favorite songs of all time.
Which one?
Dead Flowers.
Yeah, that's my favorite song in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like
You
that
like that version too, which is I mean, I love that version, but I like the Stones version a little
I
better.
prefer the slower version in the movie.
Do you know anything else?
Yeah.
But did you
That
ever
that
look?
dude, that song at the song at the end of that gets me, dude, like emotionally.
You should listen to his other stuff. It's Towns Van
Towns
Zandt.
Van Zandt, yeah.
Gotta listen to some of his other stuff. I
Yeah.
recently found a shirt in a Texas flea market. All right, and it's like this creamy color shirt, like off white, in big bold letters. All it says is "Listen to Towns Van Zandt."
I like it.
Great shirt. I was like, oh, this is great. It's half chewed up and it's old, but like I had to pick it up. Just listen to Towns Van Zandt.
Love it.
Yeah, the lady gave me this look like, you actually know who this guy is, and I'm like, hell yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
oh,
that.
it's like that, was it Route 66 or Alaska that you were wearing that, I think it was a Grateful Dead shirt? Or maybe a
No,
different band?
we were in Route 66 in the Donkey Town.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's the name of that town?
Oldman.
Oldman, yeah, Oldman with all the donkeys.
Yeah.
I was wearing a Moody Blues shirt,
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
and she was giving me shit.
You're like, bitch, let me name the albums.
Yeah, freaking, you name your top 5 songs, and then then we can have something to stand on. Same thing happened. I was wearing the same shirt in Salem, Mass, when I took Lee there a couple of years ago, and this another just an old lady. The old lady's just not believing me.
Can you blame them though? You're not exactly the typical music listener, especially well, considering your age.
I just people not cool. All right,
Unbelievable.
#1 movie.
Number one, the time Andy Dufresne came into that prison, we had no idea what we were in for. Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
Uh,
all right, all right.
yeah.
I can dig it.
Another one that gets me every time. Watched it at least 10 times, I think.
Dig it. It's a great movie. A better book, but a great movie.
Yeah, amazing movie. I obviously I haven't read the book, but maybe my favorite Morgan Freeman film. Probably my favorite Morgan Freeman role he's ever had.
You didn't like
And
him as God?
as what?
As God?
Not exactly.
In Evan,
Uh,
come on, you gotta see Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he plays God. That's a good role. But
It's,
no, he's
it's-
better at Shawshank Redemption.
yeah, and Tim Robbins. I can't believe he hasn't been in more stuff because he's so good.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Good movie.
I could watch that so many times in a row and not get bored of it.
All right. That's a solid list. I got no complaints there.
All right, now your turn.
Oh God. Here we go. Um I can only give you 2,
Okay.
I would say. And to me they fluctuate every few years, I'd say. The more movies I watch. But I'd say my number 2 is Fight Club.
Oh wow,
Yep.
that's high praise.
I think it's got one of the best twists in it. But the movie with the better twist is my number 1. Um, the thing about Fight Club was, again, I feel like a broken record here. Read the book first, and I
I didn't even
really,
know there was a Fight Club book.
oh my god, what am I
Makes
gonna
sense though.
do? And in my opinion, the like a lot of the times, and I'd say most of the times, the movie is worse than the book. But in this case, I
Yeah.
believe the movie was better than the book.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same thing with manga and anime. So
Yeah, it's very hard, I think, for me at least, to find a movie to be better than the book. But I actually think the movie was a lot better. And the same goes for my number 1 spot. I read it first, and then I watched it. It's The Prestige.
That's a great movie. Yeah,
Got
I
two
remember
of my
that.
favorite actors in it: Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
And it is one of Scarlett Johansson's early roles.
dude, Christian. What is the last time Christian Bale was in a bad movie?
He's never been in a bad movie.
He always takes. He's always in great roles and
I
great movies.
absolutely love him. He might be my favorite actor.
He's an
I just
amazing actor.
and that twist when it all comes together at the end of The Prestige. Oh, and David Bowie, freaking David Bowie was in that movie.
I
Played an
don't.
amazing
I don't even
role.
remember that. I don't remember the movie that well, but
He
it
plays.
was. I remember it being really, really good.
Oh, you should rewatch it, man.
I remember I confuse The Prestige and The Illusionist a lot.
Yeah, The Illusion. Well, they came out in the same year.
Yeah. The,
And The Illusionist is also a great movie, but just not as good as The Prestige. It was oh man. I have a third one. I take that back. I totally have a third movie I can give you for my list.
okay.
Still sticking to my guns, but Prestige is my favorite because of the twists and turns and the pure acting, and they nailed the period. They really nailed the period. I think the costume design and setting was just perfect in that film. So that was good. But my third movie I'm going to put on my list is The Gray.
Oh, with Liam Neeson.
Yep, Liam Neeson's another. He's the third in my top three actors. Liam Neeson is just.
Liam Neeson's great.
He is a great actor.
So good.
I just remember him from my childhood as Qui Gon. You
Gray
know,
was a decent. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but I thought it was decent.
it was a heavy movie. It had some really good lines, some really intense moments. I just
Yeah, I mean,
I
it was
liked him.
basically solo acted by Liam Neeson the whole movie.
I liked I
Yeah.
liked him in that better than Taken.
Well, Taken was just a meme.
Listen,
It's one of the best memes ever, but it's a meme.
the first one was pretty good, but it was just like I went downhill after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he had this. I remember when Taken came out. Right, shortly before that, I'm pretty sure his wife died, and like he had to fill that void in his life by taking all these roles,
Mm-hmm.
all these action roles where he was like the main guy. Um, Most of them were pretty well done. Obviously, the subsequent Takens were kind of just shoehorned in, so they weren't
Mm-hmm.
that great. But yeah.
That'd be my top three.
Okay.
Do that for movie.
Now I have a little bit harder of a question for you.
Oh god.
It's same area though. It honestly, if you could just give me one, I'd be impressed. But TV shows,
Oh, easy.
really? For me, this is really hard.
Well, you want top three or just one favorite TV show?
If you can do top three, give me top three.
I don't watch a whole lot of TV. Like that's my thing.
Well, just no. When I say TV shows, I mean I just shows from anywhere.
Like, are we including anime as
Yes.
well? Oh well. How about we break it into anime versus live action?
Why though?
Because I think it's unfair.
Unfair to what?
Well, I guess it's not unfair, but all right. You want to make it all one category? Let's
I
see.
don't see any reason why I shouldn't.
All right.
The
Let me really
the
let
only
me.
difference is the only inherent difference about the product is that it's one's animated and one's not.
All right. Let me think. Do they need to be like ongoing? Like what
If you want,
like? All right. Cowboy Bebop, and that '70s show.
okay.
Altered Carbon's definitely up there.
Ooh,
You know, Samurai Champloo's up there. Evangelion's up there.
Jellion.
Gellion, sorry.
You
One
should
Piece
all,
is up there.
yeah.
Actually, it's kind of not up there because I read it. I don't really watch it. I've watched it, but
Okay.
like, uh, yeah, yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, right.
That is what about you?
For me, Breaking Bad is up. I'm not gonna give you a certain order. Just Breaking Bad.
Ah, I forgot about Breaking Bad. That's on my list.
Yeah. Breaking Bad, Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, oh, that's
Um,
I read and didn't watch, so that doesn't count for me.
yeah. I'd say those are probably the top two. Um, you might throw Steins Gate in there. I don't think it's quite on that caliber though. Those are definitely the top two for me. And if I get to the point where One Piece actually completes, then I'd have to consider that as well.
Mhm. All right,
Yeah.
dig it.
Mm. Anyway,
Oh, that was a pretty good discussion. Figure we'll end it here. I gotta get to bed.
yeah,
So.
we're almost at an hour 20, so
Oh shit!
we've been going for a while.
Style was different. I really didn't go in it with a plan.
A lot of different topics covered. I like it.
Yeah. So all
All right,
right.
guys. Thank you
Sure.
all for watching. Is this going to be Midnight Underground?
Yeah, Midnight Underground. Keep
All
it
right,
up.
this is going to be episode 3 of Midnight Underground. Thank you all for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed, comment if you have something to say, subscribe if you want, and we will see you all next time. Have a good one.
Stay groovy, my friends.